Uja,
Puja Satnahas, if you're speaking, we're not hearing you. A tap.
Uja, testing. Can you hear me now?
Ni.
Do. Uja, greetings. I am Sunu Satnahasra, along with Shashanebra. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional, dedicated to Goddess Set and all her mystic forms, gods, and goddesses, who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in the ancient Egyptian language, the Medu Neter. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcome to participate by chatting along in your worship space or home or wherever you may happen to be during our service, or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mode. Following the Uashu, recitation of the liturgy, and Uwa practice, we will have a brief rec teaching by Sehu Kepraang, leader and priest of the Shataut Neter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Penat. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which some of the symbols of Goddess Net sits atop a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her shield. This symbolizes the protection and resurrection of the soul within this place, the temple. Behind the emblems of Net on both sides are the flags, which mean Neter, divinity. In the center of the pylons, at the bottom, is the opening to the temple, and above that is a pyramidal structure which symbolizes the four equilateral planes of the universe and the mystic number 4. Above that, at the very top, is the cow hieroglyph symbol, which means rising. So it symbolizes the sun rising between the mountains, the Aket symbol, and for the initiate, the emergence of spirit consciousness. Net nesuma punetanima, Jenes nesuma tatina poteri, Menket mert en het stet met en tau, Yeri pertet FSN en het no, Dinam Jetta.
Net nesut mehunetem inen. Jedef nesut hedem jinet bekilu. Venker menim hepset neb inkain. Geri hebehetep esesen imhetnet. Inadurin esjetam.
and consumer who turning Jedef Yeshua Tapina Purpuri Mangat Mut and Hepset Nab and Kain Gary Hepert Hep SSN and Hetman in Ren F Cheta
Net nesut mehunetem inen. Jedef nesut hedem jinet bekilu. Venker menim hepset neb inkain. Geri hebehetep esesen imhetnet. Inadurin esjetam.
Net Nesuma Puna Turning Jedef Nesuma Tapina Purpuri Mangat Mut and Hepset Nab and Kain Gary Hepert SSN and Hetman in Ren F Chapter
Net nisut mihpunetem inen. Jedef nisut hetep jit. Net pikiru. Mekemelim hepsed neb enkain. Geri heb hetep es in hetnen. Inad ben efjetam.
Net Nesuma Puna Turning Jedef Nesuma Tapina Purpuri Mangat Mut and Hepset Nab and Kain Go Rapper Cap SSN and Hetman in Art Ren F Jetta
Net nisut mihpunetem inen. Jedef nisut hetep jinet pikiru. Mekemelim hepsed neb enkain. Geri hebehetep es in hetnen. Inad ren efjetam.
Duamu Deref Ubene Penderua Puti Anate Chekera Neferne Ruben
Dua hamun. Shedef uben ef en hirua kuti. Anitesh herkera. Nefeneb uben.
Duamu Deref Ubene Penderua Puti Anate Chekera Neferne Ruben
Dua hamun. Shedef uben ef en hirua kuti. Anitesh herkera. Nefeneb uben.
Duamu Derefubene Pengerua Kuchi Deshegera Nefene Ruben
Dua hamun. Shedef uben ef en hirua kuti. Anitesh herkera. Nefeneb uben.
Duamu Derefubene Pengerua Kuchi tu, Giza-Their, Esotericism,
Dua Amun, Shidefu Benefin Hiru Akuchi, Anidesh Hirkeran, Nefaneb Uben,
Ari Jen Sekert, Asech Uru, Kef Uru, Esudi Hetep Net Berkelu, Didi Estau Abamuneb Nefershepsi, Hetnet Hotel.
Nesuji Hitepnet Bikiru, Didieska Wabamuneb Nefishipsi, Etnet, Eteb,
Nasuti Hetep Berkelu, Didi Estau Abamuneb Nefershepsi, Hetnet Hotel.
Nesuji Hitepnet Bikiru, Didieska Wabamuneb Nefishipsi, Etnet, Eteb,
Nasuti Hetep Berkelu, Didi Estau Abamuneb Nefershepsi, Hetnet Hotel.
Nesuji Hitepnet Bikiru, Didieska Wabamuneb Nefishipsi, Etnet, Eteb,
Nasuti Hetep Berkelu, Didi Estau Abamuneb Nefershepsi, Hetnet Hotel.
Nesuji Hitepnet Bikiru, Didieska Wabamuneb Nefishipsi, Etnet, Eteb,
Tua in Shamsu, in Nebajan, Urseshu in Keperu, Dua Asar, Nebrestau, Paut Netaru, Aat Ami Netafer, Anatech Hir Kikenti, Amentet, Un Nefer Ab Abdu, Matentu Ai Hu Anek Arati, Restau, Seteka Sekert, Aku Sari Nas, Uber Center, Set Mk, Def Seat Netter, Uni Mtet, Tenayash En Metin, Asar, Erdit Endek, En Ari Heru, Tenaherme, Endes Ari Heru, Ausuatep. The Sedge, Ava, Ua, Ua Netter, Abu Pen Ha-Assam, Abu Pen Assam, Spur and El, Arit Bert, Nahas Sam, Uajit Paneter, Asar Ari Heru, Hept En, Aset, Abuye, Tuche, Meduje Yan, Aset Samojat, Setep Saher Amseti, Enti Amsa Asar, Sa Amset, Asar Amsa, Meduje Yan, Nevet Et, Hapsheta, Ari Besa, Her Happy, Enti Sa Asar Sa, Happy Asar, Hu Happy, Meduje Yan, Net Sedua Ram, Semesha Ru, Net Ari Maket En, Duamutef, Enti Amsa Asar, Sa Duamutef, Asar Hu Duamutef, Meduje Yan, Circuit, In Kaki Sekedet, Sa Ru, Ned, Ari Maket En Kwepsune, Entet, Amsa Asar, Sa Kwepsune, Asar Pu Kwepsune, Sunyana Tura, Emwen, Wacheta, Yana Tura, Emwen, Wacheta, Nebuchadnezzar Jed, Anatechirke Asar, Putra, Bhakti Sake, Setu Sakake,
Yanadej Emnu Enduachitan Nebejed Anatej Hat Asa Putra Makdi Sakin Situ Sakakin
Nebuchadnezzar Jed, Anatechirke Asar, Putra, Bhakti Sake, Setu Sakake,
Anatej Hat Asa Nebejed Anatej Hat Asa Putra Makdi Sakin Situ Sakakin
Nebuchadnezzar Jed, Anatechirke Asar, Putra, Bhakti Sake, Setu Sakake,
Nebejed Anatej Hat Asa Putra Magdi Saki Situ Sakaki
Nebuchadnezzar Jed, Anatechirke Asar, Putra, Bhakti Sake, Setu Sakake,
Nebejehdet Anitesh Asah Putra Madisaki Situsakaki.
Ari Jen Secured. Ari Duaker. Tao Uashu. No Duane. Sefek Lira
Net net duanet sefek kera sinues.
No Duane. Sefek Lira
Net net duanet sefek kera sinues.
No Duane. Sefek Lira
Net net duanet sefek kera sinues.
No Duane. Sefek Lira
Net net duanet sefek kera sinues. Net net duanet sefek kera sinues. Amon mut konsul. Amon mut konsul. Amon mut konsul. Amon mut konsul.
Om Ramona Rapata.
Om Amon rapta.
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 Om Sarasari.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Sarasari.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Sarasari.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Masara Seru.
Asara Sehu.
Keruma Keru.
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 Se. Se. Se.
I say it. I say it. I say it.
Se. Se. Se.
I say it. I say it. I say it.
Se. Se. Se.
I say it. 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 Ama out and ra Lebet Anko Jasne Adiniteru Ama out and ra Lebet Anko Jasne Adiniteru Ama out and ra Ama out and ra Lebet Anko Jasne Adiniteru
Nuk atien keperu.
Nuk Hajian Keperu.
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 Peru. 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 Peru.
Etheru. 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 Etheru.
Peru. Peru. Peru.
Etheru. 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 Etheru.
Peru. 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 Peru.
Etheru. 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 Etheru.
Watu Heru. Do Watu Heru.
Duatu Heru. Duatu Heru.
Do Watu Heru. Do Watu Heru.
Duatu Heru. Duatu Heru.
Do Watu Heru. Do Watu Heru.
Duatu Heru. Duatu Heru.
Do Watu Heru. Do Watu Heru.
Duatu Heru. Duatu Heru.
Look Neviger.
Luke Nevision.
Luke Neviger.
Luke Nevision.
Luke Neviger.
Luke Nevision.
Luke Neviger.
Luke Nevision.
Nefer and Shah Aton.
Nefer Rimtra in Aton.
Nefer Ramsha in Aton.
Nefer Rimtra in Aton.
Nefer Ramsha Aton.
Nefer Rimtra in Aton.
Nefer Ramsha Aton.
Nefer Rimtra in Aton.
Makeru. Wimba Nebejer
Makeru Imba Nebeje
Makeru Wimba Nebejer
Makeru Imba Nebeje
Makeru Wimba Nebejer
Makeru Imba Nebeje
Makeru Wimba Nebejer
Makeru Imba Nebeje
Nuk Kua Kua
Nuk Uwa Kuwa
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 Nukmat 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 Nukmat
Nukmaat 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 Nukmaat
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 Nukmat
Nut Nut
Newt
Nut
song, 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 a song,
Asam 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 Asam
a song, a song, a song, a song, a song,
Asam Asam Asam
a song, a song, a song, a song, a song.
Asam 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 Asam
A song, a song, a song, a song, a song.
Asam 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 Asam
Pete au, Ankh je, Uas hena, Nefu kepetu, and bat indijasu, Sunu ayamote. Aset, Uasuja heru, Suja, Menut nebu, Sen efset, Efsen asar, Aset hetepi, Suja aulitu yasor, Nesheshu nebu, Emhu shemu, Met metau, Tau, Sep nebu, Neshteta, Uamenti, Erukut, Tekin, and Apt, Tesu Kem, Enam, Sefa Aram, Digit Tat, Enam, Asar Peta, Keperu, Medut Ra, Tat, Nefi Asar, Keperu, Uahai, Uaker. Look Asset, Perke, Nayet, Urek Enam, Seter Sa Medu, and Jehuti, Hertep, Maat and Pet, Atert, Aset Neter, Nefer, Yer, Ang Seske, Sde, Ament, Sa Enken, F, Nn, Au, F, Ready, F, Nepket, Dit, Etet, Efer, Ft, Ent, Enet, Tawi, Uahai, Uaker. Keru, 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 Keru,
Hiruma. Sorry.
Keru, 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 Nedai, Mesra, Nedai, Mesra, Nedai, Mesra, Nedai, Mesra, Nuk Ketna, Enduau, Ra Emahau, Temu Ame Mashin.
Nukepra M-Duo, Ra and Ahuf, Temu Ami Mashu.
Nuk Kepra. En Duau. Ra Emahau. Temu Ame Mashin.
Nukepra M-Duo, Ra and Ahuf, Temu Ami Mashu.
Nuk Kepra. En Duau. Ra Emahau. Temu Ame Mashin.
Nukepra M-Duo, Ra and Ahuf, Temu Ami Mashu.
Uahai. Uaker. Yes. Turn. Turn. Boom. Then. Then. Just setting. Setting. Turn. Turn. Boom. Then. Just setting. Setting. Turn. Never turn. Never turn on. Time. Just setting. Setting. Turn. Never turn. Ooh. Never. Down. Down. Just steady. Steady. Ooh, I steady. Def. Then meta. Ah, ah, Peace, 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 peace. Attack, dua, attack.
Puja. Greetings, everyone. So we're returning to our study of the pyramid mysteries. So we'll go back. We've been away from it for a while because of traveling, etc. So as a brief review, we're doing a basic a study of the basic esotericism of the pyramid mysteries. The three most well-known pyramids, which their original name is Myrtle, and this is the hieroglyph study of the name. So they're referred to as pyramids, but their original name are Myrtle, and collectively together they're called Myrtle. So here's the singular Myrtle, and here's a plural Myrtle. And these are actually special devices. The large ones we're talking about, the massive ones. And the three on the Giza Plateau are only three of, I think, over 100. And like some of the others are the Red Pyramid, and Dashur, the Bent Pyramid. And they each operate similarly. However, with the Bent Pyramid, we have a special case because of the architecture and the internal design. That we don't have time to go into all of the specifics. So what we're doing is a general overview of the esoteric mysteries of these structures and what they were used for in ancient times. And they have been shut down because of the precession of the equinoxes have disengaged them from their stellar alignments. But when the precession comes around again and they are aligned to specific stars, for example, the three at the Giza Plateau are associated with what is referred to as Orion's belt. When they're lined up again, if there are no one around that knows how to operate the pyramids, the Meru, they'll just remain inoperable. But if you have priests and priestesses who are skilled in the theurgy of the operation of these mystic devices, then they can be essentially turned on and become operable. And when I mean turned on, it means that they're the metaphysics of the operation of the devices in relation to the soul, in assisting the soul to redeem its transcendental, supreme, divine nature will be known. But if there's no one around, then there's, you know, we'll see how the state of humanity is by then, if there is a humanity, the way things are going. So these are some views. And this, what I wanted to show with this bottom picture is the relation of the Sphinx to the second of these pyramids. They are given specific names. This is the very largest one here, and it's called Khufu. And these names that they are given are related to the pharaohs that are purported to have had them built. So this is the largest one. This one is called Khafra. It's the second largest one, but it's the highest one because it's built on the highest land. So it's built on an elevation. And the small one is called Menkara. And the the smallest one, they called it the Queen's Pyramid and all that kind of thing, but that's coming from a paternalistic bias. It's the smallest in size because of its relation. It's replicating one of the stars of Orion's belt, and the density and the appearance of the star in the sky being replicated by the pyramid on the ground. So when they name these, and then they're the kind of narrative that's applied to them, there's a paternalistic bias that's applied. And so we have to sift through those to find what the sages were really doing and saying, and what they're saying to us, which they're speaking to the soul of humanity. They're not really speaking to your ego. You're speaking to the essence of being, to assist the essence of being in transcending or overcoming the ignorance that ties humanity to temporal perception, which therefore is a cause of pain and suffering. That ignorance of the divine is a cause of misery. And then you see how it plays out in day-to-day life, in day-to-day occurrences. And that's because people are tied into a perception of reality, or a perception of temporal reality that doesn't comport with the true nature of being. And that the results of that is what is referred to as pain and suffering. So this is the Kafir one, and this is the Khufu, and you can see the size of them. Now this is a Sphinx monument. But its true name is Hor or Heru M. Akhet. Heru in the horizon, and his gaze is towards the east. And it has an alignment with the pyramid. And you know, that's really getting into the depth of it that we don't have time for. But what it means is that the gaze towards the east is the gaze towards the rising spirit. Because the recumbent animal body, which is a lion, so it means mystic yoga, and then there's the gaze to unite with the spirit, and the pyramid behind is a the reflective soul of spirit consciousness. And here's the walkway. So in ancient times, what they would do, they would have processionals towards whichever one they were using at the time for a specific ritual related to a metaphysical process with a mystic outcome that would take place. And let's see if we have a photo of it here. No, so the next time if I remember, I'll try to bring a photo of the sarcophagus on the inside. And basically what they're doing is that they're coming here to do a meditative practice. And the meditative practice has to do with the star systems that they are aligned with, and the Ka body and the soul of the person. It's a whole metaphysical process. And the inside structure, what is referred to as the king's chamber inside of the Khufu pyramid, the whole entire architecture and structure of it and how it's laid out is related to the god Heru. And so when you are placed in a sarcophagus, from a mythic perspective, you are now metaphysically and mystically fulfilling the mission of Heru that is spoken about in the myth. So you're enacting the myth through the metaphysical and mystical process, through the internal ritual that is taking place within your mind. And how you know how to operate the ritual in the mind is that the priests and priestesses who know have to teach you. And so when you're coming to these pyramids, take a look on the inside now. You see that there are no writings on the walls. So you're not coming here to study wisdom texts or anything like that. But you see here in the smaller pyramids, you see the pyramid text. You see all the writings. When you're coming here, you're coming to do spiritual practices as well, but you're also coming here to study. When you come to the large pyramids, like the red, the bent, the ones on the Giza Plateau, it's all pure metaphysics. And what you have studied in the smaller pyramids, the mythic and stellar wisdom, you are playing out in your mind when you go into the large pyramid to enact the ritual internally. So when your first time walking here to gain entrance into the pyramid complex, it's a what today they would refer to as a big deal. It's really something. And the size of the Meru and their massiveness, and it's so awe-inspiring. And then you are being led to the ritual in the mind, and when it's you can imagine, if you can, what that will do to a human being. And then you wonder why there was so much peace and grandeur and divine love and true care for humanity in ancient Egypt and Kemet. Because people were concerned about these higher existential issues. They weren't worried about, who's going to bomb who next week or tomorrow. They weren't in, what the Indian tradition will call it, the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. They were in the age of pretty much developing enlightened beings. And they took it to a very high level that humanity has not seen since. And here's the entrance, and we spoke about that, how it's related to this divinity. So we went through all of this. And here's the remnants of the Black Pyramid. And then, luckily, I didn't erase the notations that we made from the last time, so I can see where we left off. This structure is called a benben, and it has certain inscriptions on it that we already started discussing. So now we can, because we know where we are, at least on the top, we can take off some of this. So it's a benben, and we're discussing the top of the verse 1. And luckily, the notations were left on here as well. You can see where we left off. So we're about here. So we'll do some erasing. Remember the last time we were talking about the it's not, let's see. Okay, so I don't know why it's doing it now. Okay, gotcha. So we're going to discuss the end point of this text. So I'm going to start here to here. So M Neterneb Jeta Atem Hek. So by way of the divinity, the Lord of forever, completion, finality, glistening like a star. And what it means is that in ancient Egyptian ritual religion, the ritual aspect, there is the concept of reciprocation. So when you give an offering to the divine reciprocates. Something is also given to you. And that's why you perform the ritual, so that you can generate the boons, the gifts, and the blessings that come from the divinities. If your ritual offering is performed in a selfless, open-hearted manner, that if you go to God, if you go to the divine offering to get something, it's not going to work. If you're going offering certain aspects of being, then it will work. If you offering your ego, it will work. You're giving up your ego and you're letting the divine take that. So the art of offering is a theurgical process. It's actually a mystic science under the process of what is referred to as theurgy. And this is the science of the clergy, the priests and priestesses. And these are under the esoteric. So in other words, those outside the clergy are not privy to the theurgy. Those are closely held esoteric principles. And there's many reasons why that is. One of which is that you can screw up the world if certain people gain certain knowledges that they don't know how to handle. And then there are other reasons as well related to that, like what can occur to the soul of humanity. But those are other issues. So M here means by way of, so this personality. Remember we spoke about the Katush and the name in the Katush, Ma'at and Ra. So Ma'at and Ra M, so Ma'at and Ra by way of the divinity. And Ma'at and Ra here now is a metaphor for you, the spiritual seeker. So in other words, this is a process that you are to be going through. So Ma'at and Ra by way of Neter, the divine, Who is Neb? Lord. Lord of what? Lord of forever. So the Lord of forever is related to the divinity Asar, who is also referred to as Osiris. So Asar is going to bring you to a completion. Completion meaning the mystic realization of the nature of the soul within. The term atem here means to complete, to bring to fruition. So at this level, there are no more doubts. There are no more cognitive dissonance issues relating to the supreme nature of being. You know, am I one with God or not? How can I be? How can that be? And also, there is no questioning what is the divine, who is the divine. You've been brought to a completion. So all of those inhibitory cognitive processes are eliminated by essence of soul. That is the culmination of all your spiritual trials and the journey that should be accomplished before death. If there is going to be an elimination of you grasping onto the illusory world of time and space, which we mentioned earlier, the perception of causes the process of pain and suffering because of not letting go, because of being attached, because of clinging to phenomena. Completion means that there is no going back, there is no clinging on to. Your spiritual realization is complete. And all that needs to be done at that point is to rest in it, expand in it. And when the time of death comes, absorb in it. And therefore you transcend the process of the suffering of death. And we're going to expand on this issue in a very broad way in the new book that's to come out on the Dua, the volume 3, which deals with this topic in detail about achieving deathlessness. So when you discover the true nature of being in a manner that there is not even a scintilla of doubt, there's not even a gram of doubt, we can put in those terms, then you're complete. you're experiencing the fullness of spirit. You've reached the finality, and you are as heck a glistening star. You see the stars every night and they're glistening, and you don't see them. What this is referring to is the lack of diminution of light. You don't see the stars lose their power of light. Similarly, in the realization of Atom, there is no diminution within you of the light of divine consciousness. It's a perennial kind of effulgence. So the next time you forget the light on in your house, you go out to work for 8, 10 hours, whatever, you come back in, the light is still on. Think about that. That's a nice metaphor to reflect upon when you come home. That no matter the condition, no matter the appearance of time, the light is burning bright. And that means that the light of consciousness of spirit is burning bright in the mind. And a tornado can come, a tsunami can come, a hurricane can come, whatever can come. It has no effect, it has no power over the light of spirit gleaning in your personality. And that's what it means to conquer the world. There's nothing that the world can do that can diminish the light of spirit consciousness within you. And that's what it means to be complete. So there's much more that can be said, but our time is up. And we'll meet again next week as we go into verse 2 of this line. And then obviously we're going to go into our hiatus. So we need to look at the schedule and give the dates for our hiatus for the end of year as we usually do. So dua everyone, dua for the devotion until we meet again. Hetep. And Uja, if there are any questions, you can leave them you can send them to the email. Hetep.